In the cold wildlands of Alaska, the Miller family began building something special. It wasn't just a cabin or a house. It was their new life, hand-built, log by log. It all started with the foundation. First, they dug out the area and poured a thick concrete slab. Then, they stacked insulated concrete forms, similar to large hollow blocks, and filled them with steel bars to reinforce the base. After that, they poured concrete inside the forms, turning the hollow shapes into solid walls. This helped keep the house warm even during freezing winters. Next came the heating. Joas laid down PEX tubing across the floor. These tubes would carry warm water beneath the floors, known as radiant floor heating. It would keep the floors toasty and comfortable, even when snow covered everything outside. With the base ready, it was time to raise the frame. The family placed thick wooden beams along the top of the concrete walls, outlining where the rooms would be. Slowly, the walls began to take shape. For the front porch, they put concrete posts deep into the ground and added strong wooden joists on top. This made the base of the porch sturdy enough to handle snow and heavy boots. The Millers didn't use normal boards for their walls. They used real logs, and they didn't just stack them. They used a method called mortise and tenon. This meant carving special shapes into the ends of each log so they would fit together tightly, like puzzle pieces. This method made the walls strong and kept out wind and rain. Joas also did something special to the logs. He burned the outer layer using a torch. This method is called charring. It may sound odd, but it protects the wood from bugs, rot, and harsh weather. The blackened surface also gave the home a dark, elegant look. This was truly a family project. The twins helped carry logs and tools. The younger kids cleaned and passed materials. Each family member had a role, and they worked together every day. It wasn't easy, but they kept going. Once the top logs were in place, the roof came next. Big wooden beams went across the top of the walls. A special spray coating was added for sealing, then wooden boards were laid down. Finally, thick layers of insulation were added on top. This would keep the warm air in and the snow out. Inside the house, they needed walls for rooms. To do this, Joas carefully cut into the logs using a chainsaw. He followed laser lines to keep the cuts straight. Then, he lifted up the wall frames and fit them into place, using glue and heavy screws to lock them down. Joas also made small wooden blocks for the light fixtures. He drilled holes and attached the bases so that wires could be added safely. The family stained the logs with a rich finish, giving the wood a polished, beautiful look. As winter approached, the Millers focused on getting the roof done. Joas and the twins climbed up and began installing big green metal sheets. These were cut to fit around roof features, like sun tunnels and vents. With the roof in place, the home was finally protected from snow and rain. Inside, the family worked on PEX piping for both water and heating. These tubes would carry warm water beneath the floors, keeping the entire home cozy in the cold Alaska months. To install the windows, Joas added special window bucks. These helped the logs settle naturally without hurting the glass. Some windows had to be removed and fixed because of upside-down stickers, but the family stayed patient. Foam and insulation were added around each window to keep the cold air out. The fireplace was next. Joas and Ethan built a strong base and prepared the wall behind it. Since a switch would have been buried by the stones, Joas added a wooden frame to keep it accessible. Then they attached metal mesh, covered it with mortar, and began placing the stones one by one. Each piece had to fit just right. Inside, Avalon and the others started painting the walls with a soft, weathered white. Tiny brushes were used for tight corners. Meanwhile, Joas and the twins stained all the wood trims. They tried doing it outside, but the freezing weather made the stain freeze too, so they brought the pieces inside to dry. Justin painted the upstairs light rims brown while downstairs lights stayed white. All the switches were wired with dimmers, and entrance lights were grouped on a single switch for easy use. Trim pieces were added around the windows, doorways, and beams. These small details gave the inside a clean, finished look. Everything now felt connected and polished. In the bathrooms, Joas sealed the walls with waterproof materials before tiling. The boys helped mix mortar and place tiles carefully, using spacers for straight lines. They also added a small built-in shelf, or niche, for shampoo. After the tiles dried, grout was added to seal the spaces. Light-colored tiles made the small bathrooms feel more open, while darker accent tiles added style. Before flooring could go in, Joas applied a moisture-blocking seal to the subfloor. Then, he and the boys laid down luxury vinyl planks, LVP, locking each one tightly in place. Trim and transitions were added at the edges to make the floors look neat. Now it was time for the kitchen. The family built and installed their own cabinets. Avalon and Justin worked on the island, and even the youngest kids helped where they could. Joas built a concrete countertop for the kitchen, using a wooden frame and metal bars for strength. Once the concrete dried, Avalon helped sand it smooth. Priscilla painted soft colors on it for decoration, and Joas sealed it with a glossy finish. The result looked modern, strong, and beautiful. White brick-shaped tiles were added as a backsplash. Their simple look, combined with dark grout, gave the kitchen a timeless style. Open wooden shelves added extra storage and warmth. All appliances, fridge, stove, sink, and dishwasher, were installed, and Priscilla looked happy in her new space. The kitchen was finally ready. Joas also built shelves in a cool, quiet room for Priscilla to store food and canned goods. It would serve as a year-round pantry. The family added creative decorations, too. For example, they made triangle panels using old barn wood, turning one into a mountain scene with colors that looked like snow, trees, and rivers. It gave the living room a personal, artistic touch. In the bathroom, Joas made another concrete countertop, this time with a cutout for a sink. Once polished and coated, it matched the clean look of the house perfectly. By the end of the build, every room had been touched by the family's hard work. The living room was full of light, the bedrooms were cozy, and the kitchen was big enough for everyone to gather. The basement had rooms for the kids, a play area, and storage. This wasn't just a log house in Alaska. It was a home built by love, effort, and teamwork. Joas and Priscilla had guided their children through every step, teaching them how to build and why it mattered. From framing to roofing, from sanding logs to